the feather that couldn't fly. A majestic eagle soars high over the snow-kissed mountains, its powerful wings slicing through the endless blue sky. It's a symbol of strength, purpose, and freedom. Yet, unseen by anyone, a pure white feather loosens from its wing and begins to fall. It twirls and spins helplessly in the air, a stark contrast to the confident eagle above. The gentle feather whispers to itself. Sometimes, we fall without knowing why. Sometimes, we lose the sky we dreamed of soaring through, but that doesn't mean our journey has ended. The eagle, descending softly, uncertain of where it will land, it finds itself on a wild and humbling adventure. The feather flutters down and lands in a tangled, unwelcoming thorn bush. Its delicate form is caught harshly between the spiky vines. The feather struggles, twisted and ensnared. The wind tries to tug it gently forward, but the thorns are relentless. The feather feels small, weak, and useless in its captivity. Why me? The feather wonders as it wrestles with its bonds. Is this all I'm meant for? To be stuck, powerless, and alone? Suddenly, from below, a tiny field mouse scurries into the thorn bush, searching urgently for food. Spotting the feather, the mouse pauses and begins to nibble on the vines trapping it. Piece by piece, the feather is freed. Then, with one final gust of wind, it detaches and floats gently down, landing on the mouse's tiny back. The feather drapes over the little mouse as it stops beneath a tree, shivering from the cold winds of the night. The mouse curls up, using the feather as a soft, tiny blanket. Without realizing it, the feather has brought warmth and comfort to another life. For a moment, the feather feels something new, a sense of purpose, however small it may seem. Sometimes, being small allows us to make a big difference in someone else's life. The feather didn't need to fly to give the gift of care. Just as the feather begins to feel a glimmer of hope, dark storm clouds fill the sky. Lightning forks across the horizon, thunder rumbling like a growl. A fierce wind yanks the feather from the sleeping mouse. Tossed and turned by the raging storm, the feather feels completely out of control. It spins helplessly in the air, unsure of any direction. Rain lashes at it, and a fierce gust blows it downward, plunging the feather into the frothing white water of a river below. The feather bobs on the river's surface, carried wildly by the current. Each wave threatens to drown it. Maybe I really am useless, the feather thinks, its earlier sense of hope swept away in the torrent. But just as it's about to be submerged, a fish leaps from the water, catching the feather in its mouth. In doing so, the feather is saved from the raging waters. The fish leaps again, this time near the bank of the river. The feather escapes its jaws and is carried on a gentler breeze toward a small nest nestled in a tree. In the nest sits a little baby bird, barely covered in downy feathers, shivering weakly as it waits for its mother to return. The feather drifts into the nest, gently brushing against the baby bird. It nestles close, wrapping around the tiny creature like a soft hug. Bit by bit, the little bird stops shivering. Its breathing slows, and it drifts into a peaceful sleep. The feather had no wings of its own, but it gave strength to one who would someday soar. Sometimes the greatest purpose we can fulfill is to support someone else's journey. Morning comes. The storm has passed, and the sunlight streams through the trees. The mother bird returns to find her baby safe and warm. She looks at the feather in surprise, a quiet gratitude evident in her eyes. She picks the feather up gently with her beak and tucks it into her own wing, keeping it close. The feather begins to glow faintly, a warm golden light emanating from it. For the first time, the feather realizes it never needed to fly like the eagle to have purpose. Its worth was in how it brought warmth and comfort to others, not in how high it could soar. The wind picks up the feather one last time, lifting it gently into the glowing golden sunset. The baby bird in the nest chirps cheerfully, stronger than it had been the day before. Even when we feel small or lost, we all have worth. Greatness is not in how high we fly. but in the lives we touch along the way. Even the smallest things can bring the greatest warmth. Everyone has value, no matter how small. For more such insightful and amazing stories, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss the notification of any new story. Keep enjoying new stories on Amazing Stories.